Welcome to Hibernate Hello World tutorial for beginners with Eclipse and MySQL. With me, Nam Ha Minh. I'm a passionate Java programmer who has been working with Java for more than 11 years. I'm founder of CodeJava.net, which is one of the most popular Java programming tutorials websites. I'm also Java expert coach for 125 programmers. In this today video tutorial, I'm going to help you understand why Hibernate framework and how to develop your first Hibernate Hello World program using Eclipse IDE and MySQL database. Let's start with Hibernate framework. So why should we use Hibernate framework? Hibernate is an object relational mapping or ORM tool for Java language. And using Hibernate, you can map Java class C to tables in database, and you can map Java data types to SQL data types. Hibernate is an implementation of the Java Persistent API or JPA, and here are the benefits of using Hibernate framework. With Hibernate, you can map Java class C to tables in database and Java data types to SQL data types. You don't have to write SQL statements to perform a simple operation like create, read, update, and delete. So Hibernate saves you a lot of time because Hibernate does the database hard work, and then you can focus on implementing your business logic. Hibernate is powerful with the Hibernate query language or SQL. Hibernate query language is very similar to SQL language, but it is object-oriented and more flexible, more powerful. And Hibernate is reliable as it supports transaction and session management. The homepage of Hibernate is hibernate.org. So click here to visit Hibernate homepage. You see, this is the homepage of the Hibernate framework with several projects. Hibernate OIM is the core Hibernate, and we also have Hibernate Search, Hibernate Validator, Hibernate OGM, Hibernate Tools, and others. So in this introduction video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the core Hibernate library or the Hibernate OIM. You see, Hibernate OIM is core of the Hibernate framework. In this video tutorial, I am using the following software programs and technologies: Java Development Kit or JDK version 8, MySQL Server Community Edition 5.6, MySQL Command Line Client, Eclipse Neon with Maven, and Hibernate. The OIM, the latest version is 5.2.6.final, and MySQL Connector Java. This is a JDBC driver for MySQL. Okay, so let's start my Eclipse IDE. Okay, so here are the steps to develop a Hibernate Hello World project. The first Hibernate based Java program. Create a database, create a project in Eclipse, add dependencies in Maven form.xml file, write Java entity class with annotation mapping, write Hibernate configuration file, and write a book manager class that load Hibernate Session Factory and implement the CRUD operation, create, read, update, and delete. Okay, so here my Eclipse IDE. Click OK. The first step is to create a database. Okay, make sure that you have already installed MySQL database server on your computer. And let me start my SQL server. I will look for my SQL service here, and start service. Oh, sorry, I need administrator permission. MySQL here and start service running. Okay, and then open the MySQL command line client. MySQL command line client here. Enter the password. Okay, I'm in, connected to the server, and I saw available databases in the server. And for this tutorial, I'm going to create a new database. Create database, for example, bookstore. Okay, one database created. I can verify by typing this command again. You see, bookstore database is created here. Okay, and now create a table, so I can use MySQL workbench. Here, MySQL workbench. But I can use command line here to create a table. So let me create a database table in the bookstore database using this command line plan. Next, we connect to the bookstore database and create table book with some columns. The first column is book ID. Is data type is integer. With the width is 11. Not now, and auto increment. And the second column is title, which of the type is varchar 128 characters. Not now. And the third column is author, also of type varchar 45 characters, and also not now. And the last column is a price column, which is of data type float. not now. And the primary key for this table is book ID column. Primary key book ID. Okay, and enter. Okay, so the table created, and then use the show tables command to list all the table in the database. You see the book table listed here, and use this command the description to see the structure of this table. You see, so the project I'm going to create, we manage this table in the database. The book table in the database bookstore with 4 fields, 4 columns: book ID, title, author, and price. Okay, so I have done the first step is create a database, and the second is create a project in Eclipse. Now I switch to my Eclipse IDE. Here's my Eclipse IDE, and now create a new project here by new, and choose others to create a Maven project. Type Maven here, you can see, and select the Maven project and click next, and check this option to create a simple project and click next. Here enter the group ID is net.codejava.hibernate, and artifact ID is Hibernate hello world. Okay, and name is Hibernate hello world program. Okay, and then click finish. Let Eclipse generate the project. Here you can see Eclipse generate the project. A very simple project here. Wait a moment for the project being created here. You can see. Sorry, my internet connection is quite slow, so it took a little bit longer time to create the project. Okay, so we have the project created here with some folders, Java folder and Visual folder. And the first thing I see is that the Java version is not correct, so I right click here to change it to JDK8, the Java SE8. Okay, and click Java package, new Java package, and enter the package in net.codejava.hibernate. Okay. Okay, so after creating the project in Eclipse, the next step is add dependency for Hibernate and MySQL. Connect the Java JDBC driver into the Maven's project file or bomb.xml file. So you can see the bomb.xml file here, project Maven project file. Okay, and switch to this XML mode and add the dependency here. Add dependency, okay. And the first dependency is Hibernate. Now, let's switch back to Hibernate homepage and click on the Get Started. And you see here a dependency for Maven. So copy this XML code and paste it into the POM XML file. Okay. Okay, we format the code. Format. Okay. And the next dependency is for MySQL connector Java library. So I search for MySQL Maven artifact. Okay. I don't know why my Facebook browser use Yahoo. Here to see all the version. For example, my SQL server is 5.6. Okay, so I can use a version 5.1.40. So click here and copy this XML code to Maven file. Paste it here. You see and reformat the code. Okay. So I have added two dependencies. The first one is for Hibernate core, and the second one is for MySQL connector Java JDBC library. Okay, and click on the Maven dependency entry here, and you can see all the dependencies are files of Hibernate, Hibernate core, Hibernate GBA, JBoss logging, etc. as automatically downloaded by Maven here. And the last one is MySQL connector Java. Okay, so far so good. And let's see what is the next step. The next step is write a Java entity class to map the book table in the database. So let's go back and right click here on this package and select new Java class and type the class name as book. Okay, and click finish. Now let's see the database. We have 4 columns of the table book ID, title, author, and price. That means I need to create 4 fields for this class here. The first is ID, the second is title, the third one is author, and the last one is field price. Okay, and now I generate constructor. So generate constructor from superclass. This is an empty constructor. Okay, we see redundant, so delete this and generate get and set for all the fields of the class. where is the getter and setter here? Okay, and select all and click OK. So we have getter and setter, and the next one is a constructor that takes parameters of all these fields. So source generate constructor using fields and click OK. You see the constructor I want. Okay, and reformat this code to make it look better. Make it look better. Control C F. Okay. Okay, so that's very basic entity class. Book has four member variables or four fields corresponding to four columns in the table book in the database. Okay. Now let's use the annotation to tell Hibernate to map this book class with the book table in the database. So the first one is entity. Okay. No, because Hibernate is an implementation of the ZPA, so we need to import the entity annotation from the yes. So delete this and click again to import the entity annotation from the javax.persistence, which is a ZPA API. Okay. And the next annotation for this class is a table annotation, and specify the table name is book table. Okay. That's how to map a Java class to a database table. And next, I'm going to show you how to map Java data type to SQL data type. You know, Hibernate is intelligent for fields in the class have the same name with the column name in the database. Hibernate can automatically map. Okay, you know, I repeat again. Hibernate can automatically map the fields in the class which have the same name as the column names in the table in database, and Hibernate can also automatically map data types from Java data type to SQL data type. For example, the string data type will be mapped to the varchar data type in MySQL, and the float data type is mapped to the float data type in MySQL, and so on. So the only difference here we can see is the ID field of the book class have different name as the book ID column in the database table. So I need to explicitly map this uh, field to the column in the database, and because this is a ID column the primary key, so use ID annotation. Right, the annotation. Okay, and then use a column annotation. This specify which column name in the table name equal book ID. You see, And the next, because this, you see, because this is the ID column and it's the auto increment, so I need to use another annotation for this. So for this field it is a generated value to tell Hibernate that this is the auto increment column, and specify the strategy is identity strategy generation time. Okay, identity. So for map fields in class to column in database, we put annotation before the getter methods. You can see I use 3 annotation before the getter method of the ID field. You see, getter method of the ID field, and I use 3 annotation to tell Hibernate this is the ID column, and this field map to the column book underscore ID in the table. Okay, and the generated value annotation tell Hibernate that this column is auto increment, so Hibernate doesn't insert or update value for this column unless the database is generated. Okay, so that's for the mapping of the Java entity class to table in database. What next? The next step is write Hibernate configuration file to tell Hibernate how to connect with the database. So right click on the resource folder here and select new XML as entire XML file, and type the name as hibernate.cfg.xml and click finish. Okay, so and go to my Java website to copy the code of the Hibernate configuration file. So go to java.net, go to frameworks, Hibernate, and open the Getting Started with Hibernate annotation tutorial. And okay, let me see here. So copy this XML for the Hibernate configuration file and paste it here. Okay, it is this line. Okay, you see, not necessary. So basically, the Hibernate configuration file specifies the database connection information such as driver class, database URL, username and password. Here we don't need dialect, so delete this line. Move this line here. Okay. And the driver class is correct, and I need to change the URL to point to the bookstore database. And okay, here is a address of a server. You can use IP or localhost, and the username is root, correct, and the password is Here's the password. Okay. And the next property, show SQL, tell Hibernate to show SQL statement in the console. So I set it to true. And the last element, the mapping element, tell Hibernate which Java class Hibernate will load and map to table in database. So here I update it to the book class net.codejava.hibernate.book, right? Okay, please delete. Okay, so here's the basic configuration for Hibernate. This is the database connection information, driver class, URL, username, password, and this is for debugging. This tell Hibernate to print the SQL statements in the console, and the last element mapping element tell Hibernate which Java class to be mapped to a table in the database, and we have only Java class book, so I specify the book class here. Okay, that's how to write a Hibernate configuration file. And what is the next step? The next step, we going to write a book manager class. Okay, so right click here and select new class and type the class name as book manager. This is the main class, so I check the option to generate the main method. Okay, and click finish. Okay, so we have the book manager class here. So what is the next step? You know Hibernate Session Factory. So the first step in the book manager class is load the Hibernate Session Factory. A Hibernate Session Factory represent a connection with the database. So I declare a Hibernate Session Factory here. Protected Hibernate Session Factory. Sorry, Session Factory. Session Factory. Okay. Session Factory, and we have the setup method that loads the Hibernate Session Factory. Okay. And you can copy the code to load Hibernate Session Factory from Hibernate website. Here's the Hibernate website, and click the Getting Started guide, and search for Session Factory. Session Factory. Okay, here's the code. So copy this code and paste here. Okay, and then import the required class here interface. Import standard service distributor. Import standard service reg. Import metadata sources. Okay, done. So this is the command because it's not necessary. Okay. So I don't like this style. I like this style. Okay. Okay, so this method loads the Hibernate Session Factory and configures the setting from the hibernate.cfg.html file, which we written here. Okay. And next, write a method to close the session factory. Protected void access. Okay. And close the session factory. Close. Okay. And in the main method, now I want to test to check if Hibernate can load the configuration file successfully. So I'll create a new book manager here. Manager equal new book manager and call the setup, and after setup call the access method. Okay, now let's run this program to check if Hibernate is cooking and load the configuration file. So click the run button here. Now by the exception. Okay, let me see. Now by the exception, that means the session factory is now. So I think the session factory is not loaded, so I put the textures here for the exception. Okay, and run again. Oh, here's the real cause of the exception. Okay, that exception means that I have something wrong with the connection information. Oh, sorry, my SQL server port is 3307. Okay, not the default 3306. Okay, so now let's run again. Wow, successfully. So that means Hibernate is successfully running. It wrote the session factory and then closed it. Okay, so the next step is to implement the create operation. That means I'm going to write code to save a book object to the database. Okay, let's back to Eclipse, and then I create a method protected void create. This method I'm going to save a book object to the database. Okay, well let me show you how to work with Hibernate Session Factory. From the Hibernate Session Factory, we need to obtain a session from the Session Factory and call the methods on the session. So session here's the session of the Hibernate. Okay, session from Session Factory, open session. Okay, and from this session we begin a transaction, and then call the save method to save object to the database, and then commit the transaction. Session get transaction and commit, and finally close the session. Okay, and the argument for the save method here is a book object, so I create a book object here. Book equal new book. Okay, new book, and set some and pass the book object here, and set some fields for the book. For example, the title of the book is, for example, effective Java, and the author of the book is Joshua Blocks. Okay, and the set the price of the book is, for example, $32.59. Use F suffix to tell this is number literal is of float type. Okay, now let's run this method. Call this method here. Manage the create. Okay. Now let's run the program again. Wow, successfully. You see, Hibernate print SQL statement here. Insert into book to columns and the value. Now let's check the database. Okay, let's see the database. Let's select all from book. Wow, you see, there's a new row added here. Effective Java user blocks 32.59. ID is 1, very new. So that's exactly what I enter here. Book effective Java author is user blocks. So let me explain this again to you. From the session factory, we need to obtain a session and begin a transaction, and then call its save method to proceed the object to the database, and finally commit the transaction and close the session. And next, what next? Next, I'm going to implement the read operation. Okay, to get a book object from the database. And here I create a new method, protected void read. Okay, and similarly I open the session and close it after use. Okay, for the read operation we don't have to use a transaction. We can use the get method of the session that takes the first argument is a class book.class, the class type, and the second argument is ID of the object. For example, book ID is equal 1. Okay, the newly created book, so I pass the book ID here. Okay, and then if the book, assign the result of the get method to a book object here, and check for now. If book not now, then print some information of the book. For example, print the title, author, and price. Not out, not print right. Title of the book is book get title. Sorry. And next is author. Author is get author, and next is get price. Price. Here's the price. Okay. Now let's run the program. I change this to read to test the read operation. Okay, and run the program again. Dun, dun, dun. Wow, you see, successfully Hibernate SQL select statement here, and here's the information what I am expecting. Yeah, title, author, price. Now let's change this ID to a different ID, for example ID 2, which is not available, so I update the cost here. If the book is now, then system then pin line book could not be found, and run the program again. You see, book could not be found because the ID 2 is not present in the database. You see, select all from book, and we have only one record that has the book ID is 1. Okay, so the next step is how to implement an update operation. The update operation is very similar to the create operation. That's your different method, the method update of the session. So I copy this method, okay, and paste it here, and change the method name to update. And here we need to use update method instead of the save method, and go update here. Now I'm going to update the title of the book is for example the title of the book is Ultimate Java Programming, and the author is me. Yeah, why not? And the price is cheaper, for example $19.99. Okay, and then open the session, begin transaction, and go update of the book, and commit and close. Now run the program again. Oh, we have an error here. What happened? Sorry, because I don't specify the ID. We need to specify the ID of the book because uh, we are going to update an existing book. So I need to know the ID. So the ID is 1. Okay, and run the program again. Now successfully. You see Hibernate brings a SQL statement here, update book, set author, price, title, webbook ID. Now let's go to the database and type this command, select all from book to check. You see the database get updated with the title is Ultimate Java Programming, author is now having, and the price is 19.99. Now the next step is to implement the delete operation. Okay, very similar. So I copy this method, paste it here, and change this method name to delete. And for delete, Hibernate require only the ID. So I delete this. Okay, ID 1, and call the delete method. You see, to delete an object in Hibernate, we just create an object and set the ID and pass the object to the delete method of the session. The session is obtained by call the open session method from the session factory, and finally commit the transaction and close. Now let's run this program again. Wow, successfully! You see Hibernate issue. Sorry, I forgot to change this to delete. Okay, now run again. Boom! Successfully delete a book whose ID is 1. Now let's go to the database and check the result. You see empty set, so that means this record has been deleted. Okay, so far I have shown you how to implement the basic CRUD operation CRUD in database using Hibernate. So let's review this program. You see, first, okay, let me review what you have learned so far. First, we create a database, bookstore, and then a book table, and create project in Eclipse, and we add dependency for Hibernate and MySQL connector Java. Okay, and then we create a entity class book that is mapped to the book table in the database. We use some annotation to tell Hibernate how to map this Java class to the table in the database. Okay, you see. And next, we create a Hibernate configuration file that specifies the database connection information and specify which Java class needs to be mapped to the database table. And the main part is writing a book manager class that load the Hibernate Session Factory and then perform various operations like create, read, update, delete uh, objects. You see, so load session and open a session factory, open a session and begin the transaction, and can call save, update or delete method and pass the object to it. So you see, we don't have write any SQL statement for this basic database operation, what we need is to just write the session from the session factory and then call the method with the objects passed in. Okay, so I have finished the coding part, and let's stay connected with me for more Java programming video tutorial. Subscribe to my Java YouTube channel, youtube.com/codejava, and don't forget to make friends with me via my Facebook profile, facebook.com/namjavaprogrammer, and also visit my Java website for more Java programming tutorials, codejava.net, and also I invite you to like my codejava fan page, facebook.com/codejava, and especially I want to invite you to join my newsletter program, newsletter.codejava.net. Thank you for the attention. Thanks for watching and see you next time. I am Nam Haming, a passionate Java programmer. Goodbye and see you again.